What is up, book nerds and film nerds alike? We are doing a Quentin Tarantino film ranking. He himself said that he wanted to achieve the opera of violence, and I think he has been successful in that, as you will see throughout this ranking. But enough talking. Let's hop into this. Now we have at number 9, Jackie Brown. This is Quentin Tarantino's third film, and the one I've seen most recently. Uh, it is a good movie. It's at least a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, I don't think he has produced a bad movie, but this is also the movie I'd probably be one I'd least think about rewatching. I mean, the main character, Jackie Brown, is very alright. I think she's my second least favorite Quentin Tarantino protagonist. I mean, it's another crime film from him, but it's also his least interesting crime film when compared to Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs. Surprisingly, it's not that violent for a Tarantino film. 3 people do get shot, but when they do, there's barely any blood, and half of the time you don't even see the body. And might I mention, Samuel L. Jackson also has atrocious hair in this movie. Now, at number 8, we have The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino's 8th movie. I did not intend that to happen, but hey, it works. This movie, I have conflicting feelings about this one because, in my opinion, it's probably Quentin Tarantino's most beautiful movie. I think it has his best cinematography, but also, not a lot happens. A lot of it's just people talking, which usually I love that kind of movie. 12 Angry Men, which I saw a day after seeing this, was a movie I absolutely loved. But this movie, just something didn't click for me. I mean, but on the positive, Samuel L. Jackson is absolutely hilarious in this movie. It has a lot of good graphic violence, as you would expect from a Tarantino film. Um, I did not see that twist coming. And maybe the next time I see it, I'll see the 4-hour cut, because I saw the theatrical one. And at number 7, we have Death Proof. Most of you probably expected this to be in last place. This is probably the Tarantino film where the least stuff happens, but it had that great car action. The main characters are very alright. I don't even think it really has a protagonist because it reboots the cast halfway through. But everybody looks like they're having fun. Kurt Russell puts a good performance as the villain. Uh, the races are good. It at least is short enough that it's not too boring. I mean, I do agree with some of Sean Chandler's sentiments that they needed one more car chase, or the movie needed to be kind of a little bit shorter, but at least it's not too long. And it's interesting that it was part of a double feature. I didn't see the other part of it, but I guess it does kind of succeed as Grindhouse, but it's kind of a weird blend because I don't know if Quentin Tarantino style really works in Grindhouse because it's kind of like schlocky. The main thing is the action, but Quentin Tarantino is definitely a dialogue-based writer. Now we have Kill Bill at number 6. I know some of you may be wondering why it's kind of low. And also something is, I'm ranking both parts as one. Quentin Tarantino saw this as one film. Also, I wanted to make the Hateful Eight triple eight thing. And I rank the 2 movies right next to each other. I slightly prefer Volume 1 because it has the better action, though I do think the ending of Volume 2 has the best scene in the entirety of the two-parted movie. The best thing about it is the action. Uma Thurman also puts in a good performance. Something also great about it is each of the main antagonists has their own personality. They're not just disposable antagonists, which I do like about it. But also, well, this is kind of like a main plot-based movie, which usually aren't my favorite. I usually prefer more character-based stuff, which I will get into later when I are my top three. But yeah. At number 5, we have Inglourious Basterds. This is a movie which has a lot of great parts. The opening scene is great. The bar scene is great. The scene where she's at that Nazi meeting is great. But also the ending is great. But this movie, it didn't click for me. Like, this is also one of my problems, as I said, with Kill Bill is it's not really character based, since Brad Pitt's character and the entire of the Inglourious Basterds clan, I don't really know that much about them. All I know is they're Jewish. They hate Nazis. That's all I really know. I don't really know about them personally. Anyways, he's not even the protagonist. It's the girl, which I do think we get some good insight into her. And also, that ending is amazing. But it's probably the Quentin Tarantino. It's not one of the main ones that I will go back and rewatch. In fourth place, we have the Django Unchained. A fun fact about the Django is when Quentin Tarantino was on a press tour in Japan for Inglourious Basterds, he went into a record store and bought some old movie records, and that's when he imagined the opening of the Django Unchained, and that's how he came up with the plot. Now, with the Django, again, Django is a great protagonist. Looking at it, probably my fourth favorite protagonist of Quentin Tarantino. Schwartz has another great character. He was an amazing villain in Inglourious Basterds, and he's a good side character here. Uh, Candy is probably my second favorite Tarantino villain behind Schwartz's character in Inglourious Basterds. Uh, it has some good action. The ending is very tense. The only reason why it's not higher is I just love the three movies in front of it more. At number 3, we have Reservoir Dogs. This is probably the Quentin Tarantino movie with the best action. It's his debut picture. This was a great watch. It's relatively short compared to a lot of his other ones. The twist that happens midway through is great. It has some of the elements that I love about 12 Angry Men, is that a lot of it's like them talking, but then they cut back to the heist. It's a heist movie where you barely get to see the heist. That that is brilliant. Uh, and the other thing that was great about it, all of the characters are memorable. I can probably remember almost all of them, and the fact that they're all Mr. Insert color here makes it really easy for me to remember the different characters, because I oftentimes have a problem remembering characters' names. And that Mr. Pink scene, not Mr. Pink, Mr. Blonde scene, that was crazy. And the use of music is great. But compared to the movie ahead of it, number 2, Pulp Fiction. This is like Reservoir Dogs, but on steroids, which is what Quentin Tarantino intended for this movie. The action is not as great, but the characters are even better. I mean, it has some of the best dialogue in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Its non-linear story is probably has had a lot of big influences in the film industry. This is a very influential film. I mean, many parts of it have been replicated to varying levels of success, but the writing here is probably some of Quentin Tarantino's best. It has some amazing characters, some great action. The nonlinear adds to it. This won the Palme d'Or in its day. Uh, this movie deserves every bit of praise that it's gotten. A lot of people say it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm pretty sure it's in IMDb's top 10, and I think deservedly so. And now that you see all the movies below it, I think you know what my number one is. At number one is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, my favorite Tarantino film and Quentin Tarantino's favorite Tarantino film. I absolutely love this movie. If I'm in the mood to watch a Tarantino movie, this is what I throw on. Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton are my two favorite Tarantino characters, and that is a big part of why I love it. I love character-based movies. That's probably why my favorite movies are probably some of the oddest picks. I mean, my favorite movie is an Adam Sandler shit flick, and it wasn't even one people liked. If you can guess what it is in the comment section, I'll give you a shout out in my next vid. But otherwise, this movie is absolutely amazing. That ending is perfect. I actually read an article saying this movie was Quentin Tarantino's worst, that it meandered around a lot. That is probably something I actually like about it. That it has a very loose plot that you just get to be immersed in 60s Hollywood. You get to hang out with these characters. I mean, everybody here is amazing character-wise. You either want them to die or you want them to live. I mean, even the dog is an amazing character, which at some point I will read the novel because it has a lot more information. And I read the Wikipedia article on it, and I do look forward to reading that at some point. There's a lot of cool information. But I absolutely love this movie, and in my opinion, it is Quentin Tarantino's best.